Hi everyone, Wilfred from Zaapi here, and today we're going to be delving into Zaapi's powerful automation suite, broken into our basic automations, our flow builder, and our AI agents, so you'll have everything you need to know when you get started with the platform. So we're going to go ahead and start with the basic automations. Now, basic automations are available in our pro and advanced plans. They are not available in our basic plan, and essentially they refer to single automations that are triggered in pretty simple scenarios and that cannot be strung together. And you'll understand what that means when we talk about the flow builder that allows you to create flows that consist of multiple subsequent automations, right? So to create a basic automation, you go under the automations tab here on the left, basic automations, and you can create a new automation. There are a variety of basic automations that exist, starting with chat assignment at the very top. So this round robin assignment logic is going to be really useful to any of you who have multiple chat agents in your team. So to create it, you can go ahead and toggle it on, select the account. So here I have only one account that is integrated to this particular Zaapi account, but you can have as many as you want, right? So this is the account that this automation is going to be live on. I can then select a few different settings over here, whether I want to stop assigning chats outside of working hours or not, whether I want to assign these chats to individual users or to teams, right? So if you have multiple teams, for instance, you're operating multiple businesses, multiple brands, for instance, right? And you have the brand A team and brand B team, etc. You're going to be able to create teams and then assign those chats to route automatically to the relevant team at any given time. So here I'm going to select myself, right? And I'm going to create, sort of round robin, not much of a round robin since there's one user, but let's say chat assignment automation, right? Chat assignment, and you have then an option to, describe what that automation does, and you can go ahead and create it. I'm going to go ahead and activate it directly. And so what that is going to do essentially is every chat that lands in this Facebook account, it is automatically going to assign it to me. And you can create as many round robin automations as you want, with as much complexity as you want. And you can also create specific business hours for each individual agent to make sure that they only get assigned chats during their working hours, right? That's also going to be really important for the measurement of their KPIs in our analytics dashboard, because remember, in our analytics, you can view performance at the agent level, right? So this account is a sandbox account, it doesn't have data, but you'll be able to see data such as, the response rate of your individual agents and so on and so forth. So that's for the chat assignment. Then we have a couple more straightforward automations, including greedy messages. So if a message comes in, send this to the customer. Out of hours message, closing chat. So when you close a chat, automatically send this message, maybe with a survey of how you did, right? And then we have Facebook and Instagram comment automations, right? So essentially, if there's a comment that comes in, say on this particular Facebook account, all posts, right, all comments, I'm going to like them, I'm going to publicly reply, or I'm going to send a message to that individual user's inbox, right? So we have the same here for Instagram. And finally, we have chat labeling, which essentially allows you to select keywords or sets of keywords to trigger, to assign labels onto that chat, right? So that rounds it off. If you're a business with needs that are not too complex on the automation side, but you do still have a fair amount of throughput and you care about keeping everything nice and organized and streamlined, the chat assignment is going to be really important to you, and you're probably going to be able to get away with just these automations, right? However, if you're a business that is looking to automate a larger proportion of your chats, you're definitely going to want to stay on for the rest of this video as we go into the flow builder and the AI agent. So without further ado, let's go into it, right? So flow builder and AI agent are two different ways that you can go about automating your conversations, right? They are not necessarily at odds with one another. They can be used together. We're going to look at that in just a moment. But the most sort of powerful tool that you're going to have if you want to be automating really a high proportion, and we're talking 70, 80, 90%, 100% of your chats, is going to be the AI agent, and that's what we're going to start with. So AI agent starts with training. These are agents that are built and trained on your own data with your own configuration to answer to your customers in the same way as humans and your team would. Now that all starts with the training of your AI. So here we've gone ahead and we've added already one knowledge base, but I'm going to show you, how that works from scratch. In order to train your AI, you're going to want to add knowledge sources to begin with. We support different types of knowledge sources, including files. These can be PDFs, text files, and Excel files, etc. Right? So, as an example, if you're, for instance, a brand selling products, you might want to have a product list with descriptions, etc., that you upload here as a file. You can also upload websites, which is what we've done here. I'll show you in just a moment. Or you can upload some free text. And free text is going to be quite useful to, over time, fill in the gaps in the knowledge of your AI bot as you realize and you find out, certain gaps that will, have been uncovered by customer conversations. So once you've selected the file type, right, you can go ahead and create a source name. So for instance, return, or let's say FAQs, right? FAQs document. Say you want to upload an FAQs document, you upload your file, and then you're going to select the integrations that you want this knowledge base to be active for. Now, what does that mean? It means that if a chat comes in through YStuff, this particular Facebook account, the AI is going to utilize this information to respond to that query, right? Now, what that means is that essentially you can create as many agents as you want, right? If you're operating 20 brands or 5 different businesses of any kind, or perhaps you have many branches, right? Multiple restaurants, multiple, clinics, whatever it may be. If these different businesses have different requirements, you can create one agent for every single business, right? And this is the case for knowledge bases, for the SOP, what we call scenario handling that we're going to look at in a moment, and for AI personalities, as many bots, as many agents as you want, right? So once you've added this knowledge base, the AI is going to start training on this information and will then be able to utilize it to respond to customers, right? Now, we also have a default knowledge base that is at the top over here, which is called quick replies. Now, quick replies are, if you've looked at our other videos, are sets of pre-written answers that you can upload for your agents to use. Now, these are answers to frequently asked questions that you're going to always have the same standard answers for. There's a lot of useful information in there. And if you want your bot to train on that, you can just toggle it on and then you'll be good to go, right? Now, what we've done here is that we've gone ahead to the Lego website, right? This website over here, Lego US, in fact. And we've uploaded the website into here. So how that works is essentially the following: Lego website, we selected the integration, we added the website, put in the URL, and then automatically we're going to take in all the information from that website. In fact, here we took 1.6 million characters into the database that are now ready to utilize for our AI, right? So that's step one. Our agent is now trained on all information that is on the Lego website. Step two is going to be scenario handling, right? Now, scenario handling is where you can set SOPs for your agent. Now, what do we mean by SOPs? Think about it in the same way as you would training your own agents. Now, what happens, for instance, if a customer asks to return a product? You probably have a certain SOP for that, right? Or if you're, say, a software business, a subscription business, you probably also have an SOP if customers ask you to upgrade, right? And so in here, you can define what steps your agent should follow in case a certain scenario is triggered, in case they encounter a certain scenario. So here we've created a scenario for auto returns. We've defined it as if a customer asks to return a product that they have already received. So if the agent identifies that they have encountered this scenario on this particular account, and you can deploy this on as many accounts as you want, right? It is going to follow the following instructions. So they're going to express regret that the customer wishes to return the product. They'll say they're happy to help. They're going to confirm that the product is intact. If no, then unfortunately they're going to say that they can't issue a refund. But if yes, they're going to move on to step 2 and telling the customer to log into their Lego account, ask for a refund, etc., and then ask if they have any other questions. And if not, they're going to close off the conversation, right? So we've created here one SOP that we're going to demonstrate in just a moment. Finally, we've got the personality, right? So you probably have a personality of brand voice that you want your agent to follow. And here you can go ahead and do that. And you can, again, create as many personalities as you want for each of your individual agents. Over here, we've created one personality called Lego personality, right? And I've created it in the way that I think perhaps Lego would like their brand voice to convey. So you're a helpful, positive, and fun employee of Lego who engages with customers with a brand voice suitable for a toy company. Now, here you can also add custom guidelines for response generation. Perhaps you're a business that operates in a country where multiple languages are spoken, say Philippines, right? You have customers who are asking you questions in Tagalog, but you as a brand always want to respond in English because that is the expectation of the market. You can do that here, right? By saying, for instance, always respond in English. By default, the system will always respond in the language that it is asked a question in. It can answer questions in any languages. So if you have a requirement like this, you can specify it here in the guidelines. Use emojis sparingly, for instance, avoid big paragraphs, etc. Here, I've said, always be positive in your responses, as befits an employee of Lego. We would kind of expect that. Feel free to use emojis, be succinct, and feel free to throw in a little whimsy here and there for fun, right? Finally, you've got signature settings at the end, which are going to allow you to set whether you want there to be a signature at the end to make it clear that this is a message that was sent by AI. Sometimes some companies are going to have requirements around this, sometimes they don't, right? This is really up to you whether you want the AI to declare itself as an AI or not, right? So here I'm going to select no signature, I'm going to save that. So here we have it. We have an AI that is trained on our information, that knows how to handle specific sensitive cases, and that has a personality that is well connected with our brand personality, right? Let's go ahead and test it out. So here we're going to select the account that we want to test our training on, right? So remember, you can upload different knowledge sources to different accounts, right? And so if I select this account, the AI is going to know to look at the knowledge base that I've uploaded over here and that I've assigned to that particular account. And same for the scenario handling and personality. So I'm going to go ahead and select this. Now we're going to need to find a question to ask, and so I'm just going to go ahead and browse the website a little bit. So these are not launched, so I'm going to just go ahead and take this product. Okay, so it seems there's a Nike collab product that Lego has released. Looks pretty cool. I'm going to ask about it. What is the price? The price of this, right? Okay. So here the AI is going to look through those 1.6 million characters that we uploaded before, is going to look at whether this has triggered any of the scenarios that we've set in here. And based on all of that information and training, it is going to formulate a response, right? Looks you're curious, like you're curious about the Nike Nana. Okay, happy face, right? That's the personality that we set. The price for that awesome set is $99.99. Happy building, right? So here we can really see how that personality that we set reflects. It's quite fun to see. Now, one thing that we have that you're going to find very useful is the thinking. So here you can go ahead and click this button and see how the AI came up with a response. Now remember, generative AI means that you're not always going to get the response that you expected, right? But that's okay if you're able to then go into the weeds and find out why that particular response was generated and then improve it, right? So you should think really of training your AI as training an employee, but probably the most productive employee that you've ever had. And that training can be done over time, right? If on day one, you add a few knowledge sources and a little bit of training and you deploy it, you're already going to get 30 to 40% automation. And that's a lot of value right there, right? And then perhaps after a month, you've uploaded a little bit more information, you found that there were some responses that were not quite as you expected, you've identified why those responses were what they were with this particular transparency feature, and you've gone ahead and you've continued to improve the knowledge base and your SOPs, etc., right? Now, the great thing is that you only need to do it once, right? And we have customers today that are already automating over 80% of their conversations on tens of thousands of tickets every month, right? This works. All right, so let's move on and ask another question, right? So let's see what this product is all about. So, okay, this is suitable for 10 plus ages. So let's go ahead and say, I have an 8-year-old son. Is this suitable for him, right? So this is a slightly more advanced question in that it doesn't say directly that this is unsuitable for 8-year-olds, but it does say that this is 10 plus, right? And so we would expect the AI to kind of pick up on that. Now note that if the AI finds that it doesn't have the response to that question, it's automatically, as a default configuration, going to escalate to your team members. So you don't need to worry about your AI going off the rails and answering things that are untrue, right? And we're very careful about that at Zaapi. So that's a great question. The Nike X Lego set is recommended for ages 10 and up. So it might be a bit challenging for an 8-year-old, but don't worry, we have tons of other amazing sets that would be perfect for him, right? So again, here the AI has identified that this is a 10 plus age product, and therefore probably going to be a little bit hard for an 8-year-old. So it's done pretty good, right? Let's go ahead and ask perhaps about some policies over here, right? So let's ask about shipping. Okay, how fast do you ship? Do I need to pay, right? Is it free shipping or do I need to pay? Oh, did a bit of a typo here, but the AI should not be tripped over by that in any way. This is more of a live example, I suppose, because real life can get messy as well. Okay, so we're super speedy when it comes to shipping. We see that we ask our AI to be very structured and clear, and we see that it's done that, right? So for orders between blah, 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 for orders between this, this is what it is, etc. So here, this is the Lego US website, and so it's trained on a lot of that kind of information. Now we're going to say, if I buy this product, and I'm in LA, how much do I pay, and how fast does it ship, and will it reach me? Okay. Now we're adding a little bit of complexity again here, right? So here we have the basic shipping policies, but now we've added a location, and so here the AI is going to have to identify sort of what policy applies to that particular location, how much they need to pay, etc., and connect that with the product that is $99.99. So again, some additional complexity here. So your set will definitely reach you in sunny Los Angeles. Here's the scoop on shipping. If you place your order, blah, 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 blah. Shipping speed, okay, we've got the different shipping speeds. Now, specifically for your product, while we have express shipping cost listed for orders, the exact cost for orders over that amount isn't explicitly detailed, but don't worry, we'll see the precise shipping cost at checkout before you finalize your purchase. And great news, since you're in LA, you won't have to, that additional 12.5 since that applies to Alaska and Hawaii. All right. So again, quite a complex inquiry, right? There are lots of different policies here that are intersecting, lots of different factors to take into account, but the AI has done a pretty good job of it, right? So that pretty much wraps it up, and here we can really see how the knowledge base has informed all of these answers. Now, let's try and trigger the refund scenario. I want to return a product. So here the scenario has been encountered that we trained the AI for, right? The user wants to return a product, and so here we expect the bot to follow our SOPs. So I'm sorry you want to return your product, express regret, which is what we entered in the scenario. Can you please confirm the product is intact, right? If it is, that's great. You can log in and out. If it's not, I'm afraid we can't issue a refund, right? So it is intact. It is intact. What do I do? Okay. So we're going to assume that the person didn't read this, right? It seems that they're not reading a lot of the stuff anyway. So, okay, it's intact. What do I do? So here's what you do. Go to lego.com, head to My Orders, click Request Return on the order that you'd like to send back. Again, it's being very clear and very structured, which we've asked it to do, so that's great. And then you'll be prompted to upload a picture. Once that's approved, blah, 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 right? So here we can see the AI, again, did a great job at identifying that the scenario that we trained it on was triggered, and then did a great job at following the relevant SOP, right? So I hope that through this short demo, you can really see how powerful this stuff is, and it really has amazing potential to get your business to very high double-digit levels of automation, right? Now, we've tested it, we're happy with the performance, we're now going to go ahead and deploy it. We have two different modalities of deployment over here. The one that we recommend is the one on the left, where the AI handles all new incoming chats, right? Now, why do we recommend this? As I mentioned, the AI, if it is stumped, if it doesn't have the information, it's not going to make up information. It is automatically going to escalate to your agents. So in that sense, any chat that you automate is good to take, right? Even if you only automate 30, 40, 50% of your chats, that's 30, 40, 50% of your chats that your human agents don't need to manage anymore, right? And if it cannot respond to that query, well, it probably will have responded part of it, which saves you time, and then is going to escalate the remainder to be brought to the finish line, right? So AI handles all new chats is what we would recommend. The second, however, modality that you have is AI handling chats outside of working hours, right? So if you want your human agent team to handle chats during working hours, and the AI to handle chats only outside of working hours, you can use this particular template. Otherwise, use this template. So we're going to use this template right here. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to send us to the flow builder, right? Now, the flow builder allows you to create flows of automations with no code at all in a way that is deterministic, that is predictable, right? Remember, the AI agent responds like a human. It's not predictable, but if it's well trained, it'll do what you need it to do. But the flow allows you to create predictable flows of automation. So it starts by selecting the integration that you want this particular automation to apply to. Now we're going to select our Facebook account, right? And this is what's going to happen. So chat comes in, message is received in the Facebook account. The AI is going to handle that particular query. If the customer then doesn't respond, the conversation has ended. After 1 hour, it's going to close that chat automatically, right? But if the AI agent cannot handle effectively, then it's going to do something else. And here we're going to assign that particular chat to myself, right? So I'm going to go here and select this. And this is really as easy as it gets, right? You can go ahead now and publish this flow. And what's going to happen is every time a new chat comes into this account, the AI is going to handle that query. If then it brings that query to the finish line and it has no replies for 1 hour, and we can edit this 12 hours, whatever we want, then it is going to close that chat. And if it cannot handle the query effectively because it is stumped or because it's encountered a scenario for which you've mandated escalation, it is going to assign based on your particular assignment logic for that account, right? And so you can have different assignment logics for different accounts. It's really completely up to you, right? So we're just going to change this back to say 1 hour. Okay. So once you've done that, you can go ahead and wait for it to save, right? The flow is now saved and it's ready to publish. I'm going to go ahead and publish it. All right. So that's pretty much it, right? You now have a live AI agent that is trained on your data, on your processes, on your brand personality, and that is responding to your customers live, right? Now, this is one flow that we've created. We can create another flow, right? If we want a different modality of deployment, we can go ahead and create a custom flow from scratch. Now, it all begins with the initial trigger. The initial trigger usually is going to be a message has been received. Now, we're going to select the Facebook account again, right? And here we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to apply a condition node that is going to say, if a message is received during my business hours, then I want it to assign to me, right? Because I'm working during our business hours. However, if it's outside of business hours, I want to assign the chat to the AI. And then only if the AI cannot reply, then I want it to assign it to me and I'll get to it the next day, right? This is another way that you can do it if you want your chats to be handled by AI only outside of business hours, right? Now, these are two examples where AI really mostly takes center stage, right? That said, there are some use cases where you might want to be a little bit more narrow in the way that you approach inbound chats. And here the flow builder really shines. So I'm going to give you a quick example of how we use the flow builder at Zaapi. And we're going to switch tabs over here, right? This is what happens if you message us today at Zaapi, right? So chat comes in, we're going to welcome you with a very predictable message. We're going to tell you a little bit more about what Zaapi does, right, over here. Then we're going to send a message with a few different buttons that you can click on, try free for 7 days, book a demo, inquiry, and so on and so forth. Depending on what button you click, we're going to label those chats as, say, WhatsApp ads, Messenger ads, and so on and so forth. If you want to book a demo, same thing, right? Because a lot of our chats, through these channels come through click to message ads, right? Then we're going to send to the next parts of the flow as is necessary. So for instance, here we're going to send a message that says, if you've asked for a 7-day free trial, we're going to send this particular message, right? And then if there is any further query after that, we're going to let the AI handle any free flow queries, right? Now, if the person wants to know more about the price, for instance, we are going to send this, which has all the details about our price, and we're going to send a second message here and then let the AI handle, right? So there's a ton of flexibility. as to how you want to use your flow builder, right? The flow builder is really good for lead filtering. If you have a lot of leads that are coming in, you say you're a B2B business, you're a real estate development company, and you are booking users in for viewings of apartments, right? You're going to be able to use the flow builder to really great effect for lead filtering by creating such options, welcoming the user to come in, asking them what they want, responding to their queries, and ultimately booking them in for viewing, all of that automatically, right? So there are tons of different options that you can get into over here, right? So let me jump back into this particular flow and present them to you. We have a number of different nodes that you can utilize. Condition nodes, which essentially are going to say, if the last thing that happened meets these criteria, then do the next thing, right? That's condition nodes, and you have a number of different condition nodes that exist. Message content, for instance, filtering for keywords. If the previous message meets these keywords, then do the next thing. If there is a label applied to that chat that is of a particular kind. Business hours, if the duration since the last customer's message, customer waiting time. So this can be something like, if a message comes in and it hasn't been replied to in 2 minutes, then let the AI handle, right? So this can make sure that, for instance, during your business hours, you prioritize your agents, your human agents, but if they don't do a good job at replying chats within 2 minutes, the AI handles that. You can do that with a condition node, customer waiting time. New returning customers, you might want to greet those customers differently, right? Pauses, jump to, this allows you to loop back automation flows in a circular fashion, right? If, for instance, you want to have a set of options that then sort of loops back when the user reaches the end of that particular branch. And finally, you have actions. If this happens, then do this. You can send messages. You can send button messages that users can click, and then are going to trigger the next thing, right? The next action. You can let the AI handle. You can add a label to that chat. So this can be, for instance, if a user clicked on inquire about price, then label them as potential customer, right? That's one use case. Removing a label, closing a chat, unassign a chat, or mark as spam, right? So this wraps it up in terms of the flow builder. It's a really powerful tool that you can use for lead filtering. You can use in conjunction with the AI to really give you as much control over how you want to deploy these automations, right? This wraps it up. If you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with us. We're happy to help you to set up these for your own business. It is really easy to get started with the AI agent. Put in your knowledge bases, put in your scenario training, your personality. Get started today, and I promise that you won't regret it. Any level of automation that you can achieve on day one is good to take, and you can improve that performance significantly over time through an iterative process by training your agents onwards and upwards. Thanks for following this video. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or put comments down below.